LeBron James just told the Lakers he is moving on. After 8 seasons and a championship in Los Angeles, the King is a free agent again at 41 years old, heading into a record-breaking 24th season, a number no player in NBA history has ever reached. Most of the guessing has centered on the Warriors, the Cavaliers, and the Heat, but buried under all that noise sits a team almost nobody is mentioning, and it might actually make sense. The Minnesota Timberwolves just went all in on winning right now, and they have a superstar who could use exactly what LeBron brings to a locker room. This is not a rumor, and nobody in the Timberwolves front office has said a word about it publicly. This is a case built on real trades, real stats, and a real gap on the roster. Stick around because by the end this might sound a lot less crazy than it does right now. Start with the obvious question. Why would LeBron even consider a team that is not on anyone's radar? The answer starts with what Minnesota just did this offseason. The Timberwolves traded for LaMelo Ball, a 24-year-old playmaker who averaged 20.1 points and 7.1 assists last season in Charlotte. That trade alone cost Minnesota a package of first-round picks and pick swaps stretching all the way out to 2033, which tells you how badly this front office wants to win soon, rather than later. They also moved on from Julius Randle, clearing a salary owed $33.3 million next season, and reshaping the roster around speed, spacing, and shooting instead of size. This is a front office that just proved it will make bold, aggressive moves instead of standing still, and hoping last year's roster figures itself out. That kind of front office is exactly the type LeBron has always gravitated toward. One willing to swing big to build a winner around him rather than build slowly through patience he no longer has time for. Minnesota did not rebuild. It reloaded in the middle of trying to win a championship. And that leads to the next question, because reloading only matters if the pieces already on the roster are worth building around. That question centers on one player, Anthony Edwards. Edwards just posted a career-best 28.8 points per game last season, adding 5.0 rebounds and 3.7 assists a night at only 24 years old. He is already one of the most explosive scorers in basketball, and reports out of Minnesota have suggested he has grown frustrated at times watching the roster shuffle around him, without a true second star stepping up when games matter most. LeBron has spent 2 decades being exactly that kind of steadying force. From Dwyane Wade in Miami, to Kyrie Irving in Cleveland, to Anthony Davis in Los Angeles. Every one of those partnerships ended with a trip to the finals, and most of the time, a ring. He does not need to be the top option anymore, and he has not needed that for years. He averaged 20.9 points and 7.2 assists last season at 41 years old. Numbers that still translate into a mentor role next to a young scorer who needs someone who has already won it all. Pairing a young superstar hungry to break through with a champion who has seen every version of the playoff gauntlet is the oldest trick in the book for building a title team, and Minnesota has the exact type of player who needs it. Talent alone did not solve Minnesota's biggest problem last spring, and that problem still lingers. That brings up the toughest question of all, the one that already happened. The Timberwolves finished the regular season 49-33, good for 6th in the West, and made the playoffs looking dangerous, anchored by one of the best defenses in basketball, ranking 8th in the league in defensive rating with Jaden McDaniels and Rudy Gobert protecting the paint. But their season ended in the Western Conference semifinals, eliminated by San Antonio in 6 games, with Edwards dropping 24 points in a lopsided 139-109 loss in the closeout game. Minnesota had the defense. What it did not have was a second layer of poise once the game got desperate in the 4th quarter of an elimination night. Someone who had been in that exact pressure cooker enough times to slow it all down. That is the exact moment LeBron has built his entire legacy around. Nobody in NBA history has more playoff experience, and very few players have ever been better at controlling a game's pace when everything around them starts to unravel. Add that piece to a defense already ranked in the top 10, and Minnesota's ceiling stops looking like a second-round exit and starts looking like a real conference finals threat. Still, none of this works if the money does not work. And that is where this whole idea gets complicated fast. Because here is the honest part, and it matters more than anything said so far. The Timberwolves are not exactly swimming in cap space. After the Ball trade and the Randle move, Minnesota sits only about $11 million below the league's second apron, near $94 million over the salary cap, and the front office still has roster spots to fill. Signing a max-level free agent like LeBron is not something Minnesota can just do with a phone call and a handshake. It would take serious salary cap gymnastics, possibly sign and trade maneuvering involving other teams entirely, and it would take LeBron accepting a smaller role and a smaller paycheck than a team like the Warriors or the Cavaliers might offer him. Most reports right now have LeBron focused on the Warriors, the Cavaliers, and the Heat, with the Knicks, the Sixers, and the Celtics also mentioned. Minnesota is not one of those reported teams. So this has to be said plainly. This is not breaking news, and nobody inside the Timberwolves organization has confirmed any real interest. This is a what if, a basketball thought experiment built on real facts about a real roster and a real free agent, not a leak or an insider tip. But sometimes the best debates in sports are not about what is actually happening right now. They are about what could happen if two sides ever looked past the obvious obstacles. That naturally raises one more question, the kind that shuts a lot of these ideas down before they start. Would LeBron actually want this? He has spent his career chasing rings in bigger markets with brighter spotlights, and Minnesota has never been either of those things. But look closer at what he has valued the last few seasons. He has talked about wanting to compete for a title in these final years rather than chase market size. A defense ranked 8th in the league gives him a real shot at that, arguably a better shot than some of the flashier names on his list. Warriors basketball leans on shooting and pace, not size and defense. The Heat have not won a title since 2020. Minnesota on paper gives LeBron the one thing those other options cannot promise as clearly: a defense already built to survive a 7-game series in May. That does not make Minnesota the obvious choice. It makes Minnesota the choice nobody bothered to run the numbers on. Here is the picture that lingers after all of that. A defense already among the best in basketball, built around McDaniels and Gobert, and ready for one more piece. A 24-year-old scorer entering his prime, still waiting for the co-star who can finish what he starts when the clock runs low. A front office that just proved, twice in one offseason, that it is not afraid to give up future picks and swing for something bigger right now. And a 41-year-old who has done this exact job, turning good teams into champions, more times and in more cities than almost anyone who has ever played the game. The Timberwolves may never actually call, LeBron may never actually answer. But somewhere in Minnesota, a front office that just blew up its own roster in search of a title has to at least wonder, even for a second, what happens if the greatest closer of his generation walked through that door. If this take got the wheels turning, smash the like button and drop a comment on where LeBron actually lands this summer. Subscribe to Wintra for more sports debates like this one. And if a friend needs to see this take, go ahead and send it their way.